first time in college game day history, that is in football, of course. We are out here in Durham, North Carolina, and you know why we're here. Duke football welcoming the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to town in a top 20 matchup. It's big defense taking on big offense. We'll talk about that matchup and so much more going down in college football today. The crowd is out. We're out here. There's also Yellow Jackets out here, just FYI, and I have been bitten on air by them before. So if that happens,
she's definitely not nervous.
We're not going to be happy about it. Welcome to Countdown to College Game Day, presented by Dr. Pepper, Christine Williamson, Harry Lyles Jr., and Harry Douglas in this beautiful North Carolina. There's a breeze outside, so it's great to be here, guys. You guys excited about this one? The crowd's out here. They're hyped.
Yeah, I mean, it feels weird, you say in the open, a top 20 matchup between Notre Dame and Duke in football.
Yeah.
But, hey, they're making it happen.
It should definitely be a fun one. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Before we get to that, we start every show with something that we call 3 big things. It's the things that we're either looking forward to this college football Saturday or something that happened this week in college football. Harry Lyles, you start us off.
For me, I got to start right here with this game, Notre Dame against Duke. I think this is an interesting collab with these teams in terms of when they are meeting. For Notre Dame, we were there last weekend. They were the better team against Ohio State for 57.5 minutes, and then it all just collapsed. This is one of those games that if you are going to keep your season on the trail, you need to get right tonight. So that's going to be big for Notre Dame. You can't get out-coached. You can't get outplayed. You've got to make the right plays. And for Duke, this is an opportunity. You're going up against a football power. I don't care if Notre Dame lost last week. They're going to make the most of this opportunity. And the one thing that Duke has been good about all season is capitalizing on other teams' mistakes. Notre Dame did that last week. If they did that again this week, they're not going to get away with it again.
Yeah, so it'll definitely be an exciting one. We'll talk a little bit more about that matchup later in the show. HD, what you got?
For me, I'm going to go out to Colorado, right? Coach Prime and his interaction with his star player, Travis Hunter. Now, a lot of times when you have players injured, I've been there, played 10 years in the National Football League, and I had coaches that had to protect me from myself when I was trying to come back from an injury. And just their simple text messages, I'm gonna paraphrase a little bit. Travis Hunter, after seeing his team getting blow out by Oregon, Coach, I got to play versus USC. I got to be out there. I'm not taking no for an answer. But Deion, understanding the big picture and understanding the bright future that young man has, tells him no. I care more about you as a human being, more so than I do about the game of football.
Yeah.
You have so much to offer this game. Deion even went as far as saying that you're going to be better than I was.
Yep.
You're going to be able to provide a lot of people with things that he wasn't able to provide them with when it came to this business. And no, heal up. I love you, son. That interaction at the end, I love you, son.
Yep.
That tells me everything I need to know about Coach Prime as a coach, as a leader, as a man that cares about his players. Overall, not just about the game of football.
Yeah, for sure. I also love that even though Colorado lost to Oregon in a way that most people didn't want to see, we're still talking about Colorado football because they're still the topic. And I'm going to go in that same vein, Travis Hunter. It's one of the things that we've been seeing with a lot of athletes, right? They have their own platform. As you mentioned, Travis Hunter is a Twitcher. He Twitch streams. What do you call him?
Streamer.
Yeah, a streamer. Okay, so he's on Twitch a lot. But he has his own platform. So he decided to link up with Henry Blackburn, the guy that kind of took him out for a few games, and go bowling, which I love the fact that he was able to do this. Just to kind of, I feel like a lot of athletes are showing that it's bigger than football, it's bigger than the game, and I just love that they were able to meet up, show that they're good. You know, everybody's good, everybody's friends, there's no bad blood there. Travis Hunter, I mean, we've been talking about him all season, even though he's been out. Is he the most interesting player in college football?
Well, yes, he wears onesies on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So that in its long, but I would say this. The greatest people that we've had in our world today, when you think about the historians, a lot of people may have called them weird. And for Travis Hunter, a player that's of his caliber, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So I want to encourage everyone out there, if people call you weird, if someone thinks that you're weird, if that's fine. That means that you're outside of the box and you're doing things differently from everybody else.
I think that's there. And also, you have to give people an opportunity to make mistakes. Henry Blackburn, look, we hyped that game up like no other all week, right? A Colorado State football game, right? Like, we're not talking about Notre Dame, Ohio State, or anything like that. These two teams. And so, of course, he comes out with that emotion, and he sees Travis Hunter, one of the best players in the country, and he wants to make a statement. That doesn't make the hit, right? But the fact that that young man was getting death threats on him and his family was an incredible overreaction. He knew he made a mistake immediately. And to see Travis Hunter go out of his way to try to bring him in and corral him, that says so much about him. And we've got to give people a little bit more room to make mistakes in that instance, because that was just far too extreme. Even for the people that were criticizing him short of the death threats. You could criticize the hit, but it's got to stop there. Yeah, for sure. So it's good that they were able to come together and bowl a little bit. All right, let's take a look at some of the top games that we're looking at on Saturday. Actually, we're going to start with a game that happened last night, a big Pac-12 ranked matchup. Number 10 Utah taking on number 19 Oregon State. There's still no Cam Rising for Utah. His backup, Nate Johnson, just 7 of 18 passing for 96 yards. And this one was really all Beavers. DJ Uiagalelei had 200-plus yards passing with the touchdown. The running backs had a couple of TDs themselves, including a 45-yarder on 4th and 1. Oregon State wins 21-7. So both of these teams are now 4-1. HD, which team do you feel like has the higher ceiling?
For me, I think it's Oregon State. And normally when I think about a Utah football team, I think about the physicality. They're going to beat up on their opponent. Well, last night, Oregon State was that team. Whether it was offense, defense, special teams, and that offensive line is one of the best in the country. And you look at Damian Martinez last night, the running back for Oregon State. He had a good game. Silas Bolden, their electrifying player, a player that can take the top off. He had a receiving touchdown, also a rushing touchdown. So I love the way that Oregon State is playing right now, and that physicality was really on display in that matchup against Utah.
Also, DJ Uiagalelei doing things that he wasn't able to do at Clemson. We love to see it. Okay, let's talk about this matchup that's going down here tonight. The game that we're here for, Duke taking on Notre Dame. That game at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Duke 4-0 for the first time since 2018. HD, how much has this had to do with their defense?
I think a lot. You look at right now, you look at the top, what their top 5 in from a defensive perspective. Talking about pass defense, they're only allowing 143.3 yards per game. That's 3rd in college football overall. Also, you look at their red zone defense. If you don't allow teams to get in the end zone, your chances of winning football games are going to be great. Right now, they're only allowing 8.8 points per game. That's top in college football as well. But I think one of the biggest things that might get ignored in that entire factor is that the quarterback, Riley Leonard, he doesn't turn the football over. That's right. And Mike Eppo trusts him in that he doesn't put that defense in a compromisable situation. So those guys are able to go out there and play continuously and play free.
Lyles, so HG just mentioned Riley Leonard. What does Duke's offense need to do in order to beat Notre Dame?
So they do everything right. You mentioned he doesn't turn the football over. The other big thing, too, is a lot of people mention that they've got, two-headed monster running back, which they do. However, I would argue that it's 3, because Riley Leonard is second on the team in rushing yards, and he's averaging over 8 yards per carry. So the fact that they're playing this great defense, they're taking advantage of the turnovers that the other team provides, and they're running the football well, that is the perfect. I mean, if you were a bad football team, you would want to be able to do those things well to shorten the football game, keep good field position, and hopefully come out on top and just give yourself a chance. This is a talented football team that does all of those things well. So to me, that's going to fare well for them tonight, especially against this Notre Dame team.
And I think when you look at Riley Leonard, though, his balance and his ability to be able to break tackles and still have that strength, but then take it the distance, right? Not just satisfied with a big game, doesn't run out of bounds. He was on Pat McAfee's show yesterday talking about he doesn't want to cheat the game. So he's going full throttle, and I know his teammates and his head coach love it.
Okay, so you guys were at that Notre Dame-Ohio State game last week. Obviously, they lost that one. They face 3 more unbeaten teams in the next 3 weeks, which will either be really good for them or really bad for them. HC, what do they have to do if they want to get more wins?
Here's what Notre Dame has to figure out. When you're playing quality opponents, the margin of error is very, very thin. You look at that game against Ohio State. You had a 3rd and 19. You can't let Ohio State convert that, and that put them in positions to win the game at the end. They had a 4th and 7. Got to get off the football field. Also, they had an interception drop that could have ended Ohio State's drive. Missed opportunities, but I'm going to go with situational football from the coaching staff. right? You had an opportunity to force Ohio State to use their timeouts and run the football. You didn't do it. You had 10 men on the football field. And I'm also lastly going to go to the 4th and 1 situation. They had 2 of those. You have the best running back in the country right now that's leading the nation, Audric Estime. Hand the ball off to your running back. You have Joe Alt, who's going to be a first-round draft pick at the tackle position. But instead, they decided to pass and do a quarterback sneak. Give the ball to your bell cow running back and let him go pick up that yard.
Christine, we were standing there. There was 2.5 minutes left, 2nd and 15. They tried to throw a screen pass, and the look on his face, he goes, that might cost them the game right there because they didn't force them to use that final timeout.
Yep.
They got 4 more plays off because they had that final timeout with 15 seconds that they were able to use. To get 4 more plays off because of 1 more timeout, that quite literally, to your point, with that in that situational football, that cost them the game.
Yeah.
And so that's why that loss is just so puzzling. And you remember that place went from the loudest, one of the loudest stadiums we've ever heard, to the quietest in seconds because of all of the litany of mistakes.
The emotions and how it was going high, low. But the reason why I was so upset about that, because I was in that same situation when we played a game in London versus the Detroit Lions. And we decided to pass the ball, a screen pass, and they got dropped. It gave the opposing team another timeout. They went down and kicked the field goal. That trip back to Atlanta from London was a long one.
Yeah, I can imagine. All right, let's talk about another place that we have been before. USC is heading to Colorado. Colorado is going back home. After that big loss to Oregon, the O-line continues to be a problem for this Colorado team. Shedeur Sanders has been sacked 22 times, which is the most in FBS. Lyles, how can Colorado mask the issues that they have?
I think September? They need about 9 more months. You got to go through a recruiting cycle. The problems on that line are impossible to fix, in my opinion. And HD would know better than I would, but the game starts and ends on both lines. And the fact that, and it's funny because when I did College Football Live yesterday, I actually had Shedeur Sanders still in my top 5 college quarterbacks because he's still putting up numbers with basically little to no protection. And so what do you do to fix that? You get rid of the ball quickly, which is still not a given. You can't just run the football because if you can't pass protect, usually you can't run protect either. So this is just something that's going to have to be something that they get better at over time. And it's like Coach Prime said, this is the worst we're going to be, so enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, for sure. And also, Coach Prime did also say that he thinks he needs 7 or 8 more dogs to make it all the way to the CFP. So he does still has a lot of things that he's planning on doing. But let's go to the USC side of things. They fell 3 spots after having a kind of rough matchup against ASU. We talked about the defense going into the season. Have you seen any improvement from USC's defense this season?
Slightly. I think their defensive line is playing better. Solomon Byrd, Jaleel Muhammad, also Big Bear Alexander, a transfer from Georgia. Solomon Byrd right now, he's tied for 4th in college football with sacks with 4.5. So that has been good. But also when you look at games like Arizona State, San Jose State, they gave up 28 points to each one of those opponents. So I think when I look at USC and their defense, they're about to go through a stretch where their quality of opponents is going to be better. That's when I really want to judge this defense, when the quality of the offensive threat that they're going against is better than what I've seen so far.
Okay, so Caleb Williams, for the first time, is not the Heisman frontrunner. It's your guy, Michael Penix Jr. And, you know, Williams hasn't been playing bad. It's just that your guy has been playing really good this season. How much does that speak to Penix Jr.?
It's a lot. He's a transfer 2 years ago from Indiana, and I think that was one of the best moves he could have made for his career. He was terrific last year. He's more phenomenal in 2023. But it also helps, too, when you have 3 phenomenal receivers. Rome Oduzzi, that young man can play at a very, very high level. Jalen McMillan and also Polk. He has 3 receivers that easily could go over 1,000 yards this season, so that helps out. But his precision, the ability to throw the deep ball, and how accurate he is the reason why Washington is in the top 10.
And it's been really impressive, too, HD, because he has had to overcome, I think, 2 knee injuries over the last 5 or 6 years since, that he was in Indiana and now at Washington. So you don't see lefties usually like that, too. He's nice with it now.
Yeah. We got our eyes on Washington. Maybe we'll be there later in the season. We don't know. We'll see. But our fan correspondent, Joe G, went and talked to some Duke fans about some very hard-hitting questions. Take a look at this.
What is the appropriate time to get in line for college game day?
3 a.m. Probably 2 a.m.
2 o'clock.
3:45.
6:30 a.m.
A couple people said like 3 or 4.
That's a little early for me.
It's like now. Do the Shedeur.
What are you eating?
Grits.
Would you rather marry a Tar Heel fan or never experience a Duke championship ever again?
Oh gosh, that's so hard.
I guess marry a Tar Heel fan, but that seems pretty bad.
I wouldn't marry a Carolina fan. I'm a Duke fan. Die hard, baby. Duke everything, you know what I'm saying?
Divorces are a thing, so Tar Heel fan.
My house was divided already, me and my wife. Old Tiffany.
I don't even talk to girls, so I don't think marrying a Tar Heel fan's in the question.
Marry a Tar Heel fan. If they're good looking, if they got good personality.
Say one nice thing about the University of North Carolina.
No, they got nice grades.
My best friend's girlfriend goes there.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
I got nothing.
What's more successful, your fake ID or Daniel Jones on primetime?
Daniel Jones sucks. Probably my fake ID.
Probably my fake ID.
My fake ID downtown for sure.
My fake ID does not have a very high success rate. I'm sorry.
Out of how many times does it usually get declined?
Honestly, it's never really worked. I should get a new one.
Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes never lets us down.
He's 1-11 on primetime.
You know, my fake ID is pretty undefeated. I'm not going to lie. I'm 24 from Connecticut. Shout out Norwalk, Connecticut.
It's time now to look at who has the Fansville advantage, presented by Dr. Pepper. Now, the Red River rivalry is next week. That's in Dallas, Texas, Oklahoma, and Texas. This is like equal distance for both teams, so a lot of fans show up, both sides. Lyles, we've been there before, right? Yeah. Split down the middle. Which fan base has impressed you the most?
It's really hard to pick one because, like you said, the way that they split this stadium down in half, like it's almost picture perfect, right? And that's really how these two fan bases operate when they are in this game. I will say it absolutely fluctuates on how the game is going. So if it's leaning heavy one way or another, that's who I expect them to really just bring the energy 10 times more than the other.
Yeah, and that game is hot. A guy that's been kind of hot for the Oklahoma Sooners this year, Dylan Gabriel. What has impressed you most about his game this season?
I'll say number one, he's in a comfortable situation. He has his offensive coordinator that he had at Central Florida, Jeff Levy. Also, they have a transfer from Michigan, wide receiver Andrell Anthony. He's been phenomenal this season. And I think the most important thing is that Oklahoma's offensive line has been able to protect him. He's only been sacked 3 times this season, and he's throwing the ball down the field. He's connected with his wide receivers, his tight ends, and he has Oklahoma back at the moment right now.
Yeah, Brent Venables is doing a great job there in Oklahoma. So Dr. Pepper is making college dreams come true with the 2023 Dr. Pepper tuition giveaway. Visit drpeppertuition.com to learn how to enter for a chance to win up to $100,000.
Hartman looking to the left, looking, firing, end zone, touchdown Notre Dame!
Facing a quarterback like Sam Hartman, I mean, he's talented, he's sneaky athletic, he's fast, he makes good decisions, he has arm talent. When you play a kid with the amount of experience that he has, you know the chess match is a little bit more complicated in how you disguise things and how you make him uncomfortable.
Offensively, we're going to attack you with everything. Personnels, the run game, vertical threats, one-on-one matchups.
Straight ahead, trying to break a tackle. He does! Leonard! Touchdown!
He is a talented individual. The things he presents in the run game, he's a big, physical, tough runner. He's accurate in the pass game for what they need him to do.
He's such a competitive kid. He's such a winner. He makes this engine run.
We are now very lucky to be joined by Mark and Elizabeth Williams, former Duke ballers, current professional ballers, NBA, WNBA. Hello, guys. Thank you guys for being here with us. Okay, so we know what people say. Duke is typically considered a basketball school, but we're out here for College Game Day. It is a football school, at least this season, right? How is it like being out here for Game Day and watching the football team get some love?
Student athlete from here.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, this atmosphere is electric. Seeing all the students here, excited for football. It's good to have us. This excited.
You guys are both great athletes here. What are some of your favorite memories of being a Duke?
One of my favorite basketball memories memories is winning the ACC tournament. Obviously, ACC basketball is incredible. And one of my favorite football memories is actually my sophomore year against Carolina. Jamison Crowder caught the game-winning touchdown. And so hopefully we have that same type of game today with a game-winning play.
Love that.
Now, I have to ask y'all this. What was those household battles like growing up? Who used to get the best of who?
You know, he was a little bit smaller a couple years ago, so I got the best of him. It's a little different now. He put on.
Yeah, once I got taller, she didn't want to play me anymore. So
I feel like I saw something that said that, Mark, you thought that Elizabeth was the better basketball player.
I mean, at a point in time, she was. And then I got
Wow,
her name is her banner is hanging in the rafters here, by the way. Okay, so both of you guys were here at Duke. Obviously, Cameron Indoor is iconic. What is it like playing in Cameron Indoor?
It's one of a kind, honestly. There's really no environment like it, whether it's the men's or the women's side. Yeah, it's a special place.
Yeah, for sure.
Best arena in college basketball. You know, just having that atmosphere every time we played in there. You know, the fans showing out every night. It's loud, electric. Just love the energy in there.
Yeah. Nice old building. Feels a little creaky too. Okay, so we play everything. We play a thing every single week. It's called 1 Minute Drill. We're gonna have you guys help us out because we're gonna have our fans this week dunking, and we felt like that was relevant for you guys. Now, I want you guys to know, Harry Douglas is currently winning 2 games to 1. There was also a draw. That one, I don't know. I would have given that one to Lyles, but HC wouldn't let me do it. So this week we have some fans. Where are our fans? Okay, one guy. I mean, I don't know where exactly he's going. He's ready for anything. And then we have our. Are you guys both Duke fans?
Yes.
Okay, you're both Duke fans. All right.
I'm right
HC,
here.
you choose
This is my guy.
yours.
He's in a
Lyles,
suit,
choose yours.
button up.
You
I need
guys
you,
are going to
man.
vote
All right.
for whose dunk you think is the best.
No, you're not
Obviously,
losing.
one side is
not losing.
HC, the other side is Lyles. All right, so who are your friends over here? Who's
What's your
this?
name?
I'm Cam.
Cam?
What's your name?
Joel. All right. Let's have Joel go first just because he looks like he's dressed and ready to go on the first
Let's go,
dunk.
Joel.
All right, let's see what you got.
There you go,
things
Joel.
over there. I mean, you got to be ready for that. That's a 0, I would imagine. All right, let's go, Cam. Cam.
You got this. Let's go,
Cam, it's your turn.
All right, let's go. Come on.
Dunk, yeah. You can't do that. You can't keep They have to be able to dunk. That's a draw. We'll do that as a
All right,
wash.
Joel.
Okay?
Your time.
Joel,
That was
your
working
turn.
its
Your
magic,
turn.
huh?
Your turn.
Oh, no. Guard,
Okay.
Joe. He got caught.
That's the second one. What do we got, Cam?
He got caught.
Cam, what do we got? Cam, what do we got?
You just got to get this through, bro. He got caught. Just don't get caught. You all right? Oh.
Okay, who won that one? Who won that one, guys?
One more, right?
Is it Joel or Cam? That's true. All right, that's 1 point for HD. It's 1-0. Let's get another one in here.
All right, come on.
Joel, let's see what you got. Yeah, go. No, you go. Go.
Joel.
No. You can't get any help here. Okay. Subpar.
Yeah, that was trash.
All right.
Cam, what do we got?
Respectfully.
Hey, you can't persuade the judges. You don't persuade the judges.
Cam, what do you got?
Speaking facts. Come on, Cam. Let's go, bro.
We're going to switch to every time.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my Lord.
I'm confused.
Bro, you got to put it in.
I'm so confused. Sir.
Like, we like Duke here.
All right.
I feel like I'm going to give that one. I don't know who I'm going to give that one to.
I'll give that one to HD. Oh, my God.
I think HD, I'm not going to lie, I think HD might have won that one. So we're going to give that one to Harry Douglas.
Yo.
Let me see this microphone for a second.
Come here. Are you good?
Come here.
Okay, he's good. He's good. HD won that one. That was very
Hold on,
unfortunate.
Christine. Give me a second. What were you thinking?
You know, I'm feeling a little bit tight in the boots and jeans, so I thought maybe just go out all force, see if I can slam it home as hard as I can, bring home the W. That's what we're going for.
All right, you have been disqualified. All right, disqualification.
That was an L.
You're too physical. Shout out to the winner.
Mark, Elizabeth, thank you guys for judging our dunk contest. And thanks for joining our show. We'll see you guys later. All right, let's take a look at some
time now to honor the fan who's feeling the cheesiest with the cheesiest chain, reserved for college football most passionate fans, the ones who show up on Saturdays feeling the cheesiest. I am with Blake. Blake, how are you doing this morning, my man?
I'm doing awesome. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So I have a chain, Cheez-It chain. It's very blinged out. You have a replica because you are the cheesiest fan today. How much do you love Cheez-It?
I love Cheez-Its. I love Cheez-Its. Cheesy.
Tell me again.
I like cheesy. Cheez-Its are awesome.
Are you cheesy?
I am cheesy.
How cheesy?
Super cheesy.
Are you excited for the game?
I love cheese. He's cheesy. Let's go.
Well, make some noise.
Let's go.
Make some noise.
Let's go. All I gotta say, the Irish are in for an unlucky night. Let's go. Let's go.
So you think Duke is going to win the ball game?
I think Duke's going to destroy him.
So after Duke win, what are you eating tonight?
Cheez-Its.
There you go.
Nothing else. Let's go.
That's Blake, ladies and gentlemen. Christine, back to you.
Right. Rock chalk. Hook him. You were trying to be great today, huh?
Jalen Daniels is a unique leader and a personality that people want to be around.
Turn me on, DG. Turn me on, DG.
He's a real dual threat. He taxes you both ways.
When they need a play, he'll make it, whether that's throwing or running.
He's on fire, touchdown!
The key to stopping him is just to get him uncomfortable. If we do that, everything will take care of itself.
All those outstanding weapons that they have.
Just a matchup nightmare. We can do anything and everything we need to do.
You want a touchdown, coach?
I told you a touchdown. Replay.
Lewis in the pocket, launching downfield. And it's caught for a touchdown!
Quentin Ewers is a great quarterback, I feel like. He commands his team and he has a little swagger to him.
The throws that he makes, especially with those receivers that he has, he's able to make a lot of throws all over the field.
They force a lot of turnovers. They got playmakers on defense.
Steve Sarkisian is one of the best play callers in college football. So for us, we're going to have to play some of our best football we've ever played.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure if I've recovered yet from what we saw from that dunk contest. Anyways, we talked about some games earlier. Let's talk about these ones. Kansas taking on number 3 Texas. This is a top 25 matchup, the 3rd-ranked Longhorns and the 24th-ranked Jayhawks. HG, what are you looking at in this one?
Well, when I look at Texas, I think they're one of the most complete teams in college football. But in this matchup, particularly, I'm going with Texas defensive line versus Kansas offensive line. When we was at the Texas-Alabama game, we really seen that defensive line take over that ball game. But I got to give credit to Lance Lampold. What he's been able to do 2 years in a row with this Kansas football team has been phenomenal. But can that offensive line hold up against that defensive line of Texas?
Yeah, I love that we're still talking about Kansas football this year, too. All right, Florida back in the top 25 as they travel to face the undefeated Kentucky Wildcats. Lyles, what are you looking at in this one?
I love that completion percentage there for Graham Mertz. I think we were really concerned about his play early on in the season, but for me, this is all about Kentucky. They have one of the best receivers in the SEC in Barry and Brown. He finally had a 100-yard receiving game last week against Vanderbilt. If they're going to beat Notre Dame, he's going to have to be one of the best players, if not the best player on the field. Devin Leary's still out there as well, so still looking for him to open up. There's some bigger things out there at Kentucky, and they're also one of 3 undefeated teams in the SEC East, so that should be a fun one.
All right, let's keep it in the SEC. This is a team that we haven't really talked about that much this year. Georgia heads to Auburn for its first road game of the season. The defending champs, like I said, we haven't talked about them much. HG, what are you looking at in this one?
Well, for this one, it's Auburn's quarterback, the transfer from Michigan State, Peyton Thorne. How's he going to fare up against that UGA defense? We know they have one of the better defensive line, they have one of the better linebacker groups, and also the better secondaries in the country. So that's what I'm looking for in this matchup.
All right, and finally, you got anything for that?
I was just going to say, for Georgia, they've been kind of playing with their food at points in the first 4 weeks of the season. They can't do that today.
Yeah. All right, and finally, in this matchup, another top 25 matchup, LSU to Ole Miss in an SEC West battle. Lyles, what are you looking at in this one?
Look, obviously the quarterbacks stand out, and to me, this is a matchup of 2 teams that have really something to prove. If you're LSU, you did not have the showing in week 1 that you wanted against Florida State. And with Ole Miss, thought you were going to look a lot better than you did against Alabama. They did not really. Quinshon Judkins, I still think he's possibly the best running back in college football. I think he's going to be the difference maker in this game.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in that one. We now welcome in.
Come on in.
College Game Day correspondent Jess Sims for the first time ever on our show.
I can't believe this is my second season. I'm mad about several things.
Okay.
One, this is my second season and first time on the show. And then I didn't get the Brown memo.
We dress like we go to the library.
They wanted to look like they were real studious this week. And so that's what they went for. I'm just here in camo,
I like the red.
But thank you for bringing the red. Yeah. Bring a little pop of color.
Goes. It doesn't match, but it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
A little pop of color. We love that for you. Okay, so Game Day has been to Notre Dame, featured Notre Dame 36 times. This is the first time that we've been at Duke. Obviously, the fans very excited about it. They're used to it on the college basketball side, but what have you seen out of the fans this week?
So the fans have been super excited. We actually have a temporary PA that actually is working with ESPN, and she works at the athletic department, and she said, and I thought this sums it up really well, that she's getting the complete college fan experience now. She's, of course, the legacy, the history of the basketball program here, but then 4-0 football team, soon to be 5-0. Let's go.
Yeah.
What have you just sort of noticed about the general fan interactions that you've had? Because you're one of the best. I mean, me and HD try, but you're one of the best at going around and actually interacting with folks. Like, how has that been?
They're so happy that we're here, and I think that that's so important. They're showing so much gratitude, and they're just so excited because Coach Elko has really turned so much around. So I think we're going to be in for one of the best Game Day shows, but also the turnout in the game tonight is going to be next level.
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting. So I understand that the mascots prepare in a very interesting way. Can you explain that to us?
That was my question, Christine.
Well, you weren't saying anything, so what am I supposed to do? You're just sitting over there.
So I am very nervous because it's going to be very hot once the sun comes out, and I'm going to the basement of Cameron Indoor. And in the basement, there is a Blue Devil dungeon where the Blue Devil gets ready. It's a very small room, I've heard, but they put all of the headbands that they wear on the walls. So it's this beautiful room of history for both basketball and football. And I asked the Blue Devil before, I said, can you make one for me today? And this is the one, it's upside down, awkward. I said, can you say good morning to everyone? It's for everyone. And then this is what he wrote. So I think he's sending an early message that
I think so.
Good morning to Duke fans only.
Duke only. You got a question now, AC?
Not anymore, Christine.
Okay. I mean, you weren't saying anything, so what was I supposed to do? I don't like dead silence, and he was trying to put me in that situation. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this matchup, right? We already know Duke 4-0, Notre Dame coming to town off of a loss against Ohio State. HG, what do you think is going to happen in this matchup?
I think Notre Dame is going to overcome what they went through last week. I think this is a pivotal moment in their season, and if they aren't able to rebound, it can get ugly because they still have a lot of top 25 opponents on their schedule. So this is a key moment in their season.
Yeah.
So I think Notre Dame is, in actual reality, they're their most physical team. So I think it's going to be them.
You got Notre Dame in this one. Lyles, who you got?
Look, I have the same on-field analysis that HD has. I think they're going to get over last week's yips. More plainly, Notre Dame, God's team, they're not losing to a team called the Blue Devils tonight.
See, I knew he was going to say that.
I'm just saying.
Jess, who do you have in this matchup?
So I went to a dinner last night with a few football and basketball fanatics from Duke, of course, and a guy said something that really resonated. He said that it's going to be the best game ever because Notre Dame is coming in off the loss, right? So they're going to be fired up. But then Duke has a bye next week, so they're ready to lay it all on the line. So it is the best of both teams, but I'm going to go with Duke.
Okay. So I'm going with Duke simply because I don't know if you guys remember when I was absolutely embarrassed and Clemson took on Duke on that Monday night, and we expected something out of Clemson. I don't know what happened. I'm just holding on to Duke going undefeated throughout the whole entire season, so then Clemson still maybe, I don't know, looks a little bit better after that loss. I know it's been rough. It's been rough for Clemson. I know. So I'm going with Duke in this matchup. But anyways, fans are out here. They're having a good time. We're having a good time. Thank you guys for watching our show. Countdown to College Game Day presented by Dr. Pepper. We don't know what will be next week. Maybe we do, but we'll see you then.